Who's the biggest spender?
Ferrari.
It's like, yeah, I need a Ferrari. I need to get to work
Lamborghini
earlier.
Urus.
Sorry, Dad, I can't afford that. You know, if I could, I would, but I can't afford it.
Two of them together. So that's my freedom. Who's the bigger spender?
We have to be fair, okay? The first thing that we're going to talk about, I guess it's something that's inevitable. Well, in
Taxes and
my
death.
dictionary, it's inevitable. I mean, a wedding is a big deal, right, for the girl. So,
Why are you so loud? Relax.
No, I'm trying to-
Relax. Breathe.
like, I didn't want like a really extravagant wedding, like invite 200 guests, have your like big banquet with like 50 tables at the intercon, luxurious flowers, because I find it's not really my type of thing. But I did want a memorable party with my closest friends.
Yeah, I suppose a wedding at the end of the day is just a party for friends and family. Being like any other ordinary guy, you don't have a dream wedding in your mind. So we prepared for a wedding in England. How we chose the venue was because I'm from England. I have a bigger family in London and in Newcastle. So were I to fly all these guys out to Australia, that would cost me everything.
And it was nice because in England you can find a lot of like small boutique hotels with really beautiful landscape,
Scary castles,
really
country
nice
hotels.
rooms. Yeah, country hotels. What we did was we hired the hotel exclusive for 2 days.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of privacy. All our friends were staying at the hotel for 2 days and we had a lot of time to mingle. It was kind of like a vacation with your closest friends and that was really good. And everything is much more affordable than Hong Kong. So let's say the big scale weddings that we have here in the 5-star hotels, you'd be looking at, you know,
Anything
$1 million.
upward of 1 million.
Yeah.
So the ballroom, 1 million. And then decorations, probably, we've heard that decorating the staircase for the intercon, that can cost anything up to, let's say, 300,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Yes.
For the flowers, for the arrangement. 300,000, that's a price of a decent little car.
Yes.
It's a lot of money. The cost of the wedding was one thing, but also the style, the people we wanted to invite, the scale, that was important too.
So we ended up paying for the hotel and all the accommodation for our guests.
Transport to the hotel?
Yeah. A lot of our friends flew from Hong Kong or a few of them flew from Australia over to London. We had decoration, we had music, we had photographers, videographers.
The venue I think was cheaper. Everything, even including the cameraman, the sound, videographers. The more well-known videographers in Hong Kong can cost up to almost
100K.
Yeah, 100K. And for 100K, I think we hired the sound guys, the videographers, the DJ. I guess in Hong Kong, because the standards are a little more demanding. You have the videographers come over at 5 o'clock to film the whole day. We all want things to be done to the very best standard on your wedding day. And in Hong Kong, it is. So with that comes a price.
Well, I loved our photographers from London.
Oh, they're lovely.
They were so great.
Yeah.
And the videographers, they were really good.
Yeah.
I think it's because London's so big, they might not live in that city. They actually drove like 5 hours to our wedding. They drive all over the country to work. So you have a huge selection of videographers, or photographers, or musicians, or DJs. Yeah.
And I guess when you're in London, it's quite calming. As long as you're winding down yourself, you can work really well with the photographers over there. Everything's just more relaxed and chill back.
Yeah, actually our friends said they took an afternoon walk around the hotel and they said it was really lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was at the Buxton Park Hotel if you guys wanted to know.
It's very lovely.
Yeah, it's very lovely. But, you know, organizing was slightly difficult because we did everything in Hong Kong. Me and Jason never flew over to London to physically meet anyone or look at the venue. We had his brothers and sister-in-law have a look at it for us.
Yeah.
So they kind of inspected the place for us, took
They
some
tried
photos.
the food, they checked out the hotel. I think without family or friends helping you out, it would be a bit more nerve-wracking. So with someone looking over the organization, checking out the hotel, a bit of surveying.
The suppliers we worked with were really professional, so I didn't really have to worry much. Once I sent the deposit over, everything just kind of happened automatically on the day. And it turned out great. Like, it was really smooth, surprisingly smooth for something that was organized in Hong Kong.
And it didn't cost 1 mil HK.
Yes.
How much? Moderately low 6-figure. This next item, in fact, is in Chinese culture, is a necessity. Kind of like pocket money for your parents or looking after your younger or older brother. My older brother actually looked after the whole family for many, many years. Thanks, Jules. But this topic is not about me. It's about you and your big spending.
Yeah, like honestly, for the first few years,
big spender.
that's me. Honestly, for the first few years when I was working in Hong Kong, I kind of struggled a bit financially because we weren't paid a lot. I couldn't save any money. So my parents had to send money back to help me. A few years on, I was, work was more steady and then I was able to save a bit and I really wanted to thank them. My parents are naturally, like Asian parents, like very thrifty, especially my dad. Like he could wear one leather belt for 10 years and he'd still be using the same leather belt. His coin purse, 10, 15 years. So he's very sentimental and he doesn't like buying new items to replace old ones.
His car, before he let it go, had clocked up 300,000. That's right.
Over 300,000.
360,000 kilometers. That's massive by any standards.
So we had a Honda Odyssey for many years as our family car, 7-seater, super convenient. He drove that to work every single day, very fuel efficient. He loved it. And he drove it so much that just before it was about to, he was still driving it. And then we had a lot of issues like the aircon or sometimes the brakes, and servicing it was becoming kind of like a hassle.
The thing is, with Japanese cars like Honda,
Toyota,
they never really die. And it's hard to let them go because you've had it for like 30 years or something ridiculous. And this won't die.
Have you seen our Honda Odyssey? No. No.
And you can't get a new car. So what do you do?
Yes, that's when the daughter comes in. Look, Dad, you're not driving that thing anymore. It's becoming a safety hazard because he drives 50 kilometers to work every single day, so he really needs a reliable car. I'm just worried that if it, stops on the freeway and he's having issues with the brake, I'll send over some money and you guys pick a car, a reliable one that you want, and let's change it.
A Ferrari.
It's like, yeah, I need a Ferrari. I need to get to work earlier.
Urus.
Sorry, Dad, I can't afford that. If I could, I would, but I can't afford it.
What did you get?
Obviously, they were super considerate, so they picked a BMW four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Yeah, so something that was kind of like an entry-level BMW four-wheel drive, which they're still driving now, and they love it.
Not bad.
Yeah, and I know my sister's car broke down recently.
Not my business.
Yeah, it's not my business. You get your own car, babe.
Oh wow, when my little brother graduated, the house was a mess in England. And what I wanted was to make more space for him to be comfortable, to have a decent room of his own whilst he went out and looked for work. I think in total, they spent £20,000, which is 200,000 Hong Kong dollars, to turn the attic into a room. I sponsored them part of that, not a massive part, just a small part. So I think it was money well spent because not only are you giving them more space, you increase the value of the property. For a small expense, you're actually turning it into a big investment.
You also have to kind of thank your brothers for that because they physically did it themselves. I think if you had
Not really, it's not for me. Why do I thank them? They should thank me.
True. Okay.
What?
The thing is, they did it themselves, so they were able to save some money. If you got a contractor to do it, it would have
I reckon
been
probably
more
about
expensive.
30, almost approaching 40,000, depending on the scale.
It was money well spent, and I remember him telling me that he wanted to do that. And I was like, yeah, that's good for your family. And I was thinking, well, even if I tell you no, you're still gonna do it anyway, so why are you asking me?
Why would you tell me no?
I know, I didn't, but I'm just thinking, why'd you even ask me? It wasn't up to me, right?
I like to pretend she has a say in what I do.
Yeah.
It's like an act.
Yeah, it's like an
Hey,
act.
can I buy that watch?
But I do remember him saying he needed to send it urgently, so he had to go down to the bank and physically send money back to England because it was kind of like a bigger sum.
Yeah, back in the day, you had to go down to the bank and fill out a form, and then that would transfer onto the sheet underneath.
Yeah.
And I still have those sheets of paper, which I
You have
copy
them?
onto my phone now.
Really?
Yeah.
You still have the sheets of it?
I used to be very old school.
You're still quite old school now, to be honest. If you want to send some money over to Australia, if you want to like get Kylie's car for her, maybe.
Who's Kylie?
I think some things like, when you think about it, it is kind of a large sum, but then you can't avoid it.
We have the wedding, we have your car, we have
My parents' car.
the siblings. Who's the biggest spender? What you?
Damon,
Well,
Jamie. Yeah, actually the biggest spender is Damon and Jamie. They win hands down. They're our boss.
600,000. Two of them together. So that's my freedom. I should buy a watch before we.
Don't even
I
start.
should get another
like,
watch before they start spending my money.
再长